When the state of New York called EPA in on this, the site was quite a horror. There were thousands and thousands of drums just piled up. This was a titanium manufacturing and production site. When the state of New York required the property owner to clean up the site, one of the methods they used was to just puncture the drums and let them drain out. The EPA has taken some enforcement actions against the responsible parties in an effort to recover our costs. In addition, he's been charged and convicted of several environmental crimes, and he has spent some time in jail. We saw that the extent of the groundwater contamination was extending all the way down to Long Island Sound, which is approximately a 1.5 mile distance from this location.
Years ago, having read of those problems with Lawrence Aviation, it became very apparent that something had to be done. That plume was working its way toward Port Jefferson Harbor, and that was just not acceptable.
The Record of Decision called for 2 groundwater pump and treatment plants to be constructed as part of the remediation effort. The concept is to remove contaminated groundwater from the environment. So at the site, the pump and treatment plant is to stop additional contamination from going into the groundwater. The facility that's built within the village itself is to capture the contaminated groundwater that has already reached the lower lying areas from the site.
Well, I think after the EPA came in and did had their findings, they saw that the groundwater was high at that point, and that was the best spot for the treatment facility to be located. It was open space first and foremost.
We knew that in order to get the complete cooperation of the public, it would be necessary to have the water treatment and pump station fit into that neighborhood. It's surrounded by houses, it's a completely residential area.
The community was very surprised because, what do you mean there's a Superfund site in my community? Many came to the meetings and looked at the architectural designs and had some input on how it should and shouldn't, the color, would it have a lot of noise? Lately, EPA has considered building treatment plants in homes, and this is why we have one here.
During the design phase of this project, there were several pump and treatment plants throughout Long Island that were being decommissioned. So what EPA did was take all of the equipment from defunct facilities throughout Long Island and bring them here. This facility qualifies as a sustainable design. We have a host of sustainable materials that we use for the construction of this building. On the exterior, we have the lap board. It's resistant to hail, to insects, and to mold, and can withstand the changing weather conditions. Since we were drawing up groundwater to begin with, we decided we should utilize geothermal heat exchange in order to generate the climate control within the structure itself. The insulation that we utilized inside is a soy-based, no VOC material. It allows for a moisture and vapor barrier so that it keeps our energy costs down, but it also acts as a noise reducer, which was one of the biggest concerns that the public had. It was the public who wanted to see a living driveway. They didn't want to see traditional pavement where you would have runoff of water after it would rain. We selected a product that is manufactured locally and installed it. Based on the data that we've collected, we're seeing this remedy work. The facility located on top of the hill is preventing contaminated groundwater from coming down gradient into the village of Port Jefferson. This facility is acting appropriately in narrowing the plume of contamination as well as lowering the concentrations of contaminants.
I'm most proud that we were able to build this facility to start taking the toxins out of the water. So remediating that was critical. And also we worked out an agreement whereby when the facility is no longer required, the EPA is going to give us the building so that we can use it truly for recreational purposes. And so I think that was a bonus for us at the end of the game.
The EPA's efforts were a tremendous contribution to our community. Health-wise, it also gave people a great deal of peace of mind.
We're all here for the same reason. We all are trying to protect human health and the environment. When you can accomplish those two things, doing it in a sustainable manner and providing an economic incentive to the community, it's a win for all.